to promote first investment and to protect any foreign investors coming from that country. So, because it was always between two countries. The first treaty I remember it was between Germany and Pakistan, where Germany in promoting investment from Pakistanis investors and to protect Pakistanis investment and investors in Germany from any unfair and unequal treatment, and the same goes with expropriation, etc. And at the same time, Pakistan is promoting investment for German investors and also protecting them for the same kind of legal standards. But you see in my example that in practice it was more over that German investor invested in Pakistan than the reverse. And we had a large number of VITs that were signed in the period between 59 and the beginning of 2000. We reached 3,000 bilateral investment treaties among all different countries, and not only northern countries with southern countries. We had also treaties between northern countries, etc. And in those treaties, we had a specific provision which was unused before the 90s and exploded in the end of the 90s and the beginning of this century, which was the what we call the ISDS provision, the Investor-State Dispute Settlement, which allowed any investors to initiate an arbitration proceeding against the host state for the violation of the treaty, not the violation of the contract that was signed with the public company or any commercial contract signed in the country, against the state, because the conduct of the state, enactment of a law, of a decree, an expropriation, was in violation, in breach of a treaty, an international treaty, and they were able to initiate an arbitration proceeding and obtain damages for the prejudice that they got because of that law or that decree or that any conduct that was in violation of the fair and equal treatment standard or the rules of expropriation or discrimination, for example. And we had multiple cases that were initiated in the end of the 90s and beginning of this century, and in particular at ICSID, which is one of the most important institutional center for the arbitration of this kind of dispute, but also we have the permanent court of arbitration, and we have also cases of the SEC, etc. And it became a very large specialty. And as a student, when I started in a law firm, you can become, because we were talking in the panel before we started, you can become a partner in a law firm just based on one case of investment arbitration, because it takes time, it takes years for a case sometimes to reach its end, and you start as a trainee, and then you come back to work on that same case, and you learn advocacy on just one case, because it was very important, and the damages were also very a lot. The biggest case was the newest case where the investor was awarded $50 billion. So it was
I want to come back to the cases, but before we get to that, so the takeaway that I take from what you said is the development of international investment arbitration is mainly a method to protect investors to do direct investments in other countries, in the hosting countries, right? And building up on what you said, you spoke a little bit also about the history of development of international investment arbitration and case arbitration, ISDS. I want to talk about one very important milestone in the history of international investment arbitration well, in 1965, when the Washington Convention was signed, was created the exit. I see you've prepared some setup, exit, and the cases, and maybe this will lead us to discuss more cases in exit and as well as cases where involved. So, can you talk to us about that?
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed. First of all, hopefully you can hear me. First of all, I'd like to thank Majmu'at al-Yaqub and Fawzan for the kind invitation, for me to attend this important seminar. Obviously, the nature of the subject matter, is very interesting and it entails a lot of discussion. As Dr. Ahmed said, that's probably something that will require days because of the multifaceted issues that could be addressed. Now, let me move directly to the exit point, as you quite correctly pointed out. That was a turning point, in fact, in sort of developing the jurisprudence of international investment arbitration. The exit prevention, the latest count, you have more than 158 countries actually subscribing to exit. For all attendance, the exit is the center for settlement of international investment disputes. It's located in Washington, D.C. And basically, the idea is to have the disputes arising from bilateral investment treaties, sometimes arising from individual contracts between a foreign investor and the host country to be settled. Now, as you quite correctly pointed out, actually, I did not prepare anything. I stole, the data and I stole the statistics from, other studies prepared by more prominent advocates. And I had a keen interest in determining, the extent of cases being decided by exit that actually come from the Middle East, that involve parties from the Middle East. And I got the statistics with me, and what you have is, interestingly, over the years, and my sample covers the period between 2019 and 2023, on average, we're looking into around 10% of the overall cases pending before exit relate to the Middle East, i.e., you have either a party coming from the Middle East as a foreign investor, or more likely, a host country being sued by a foreign investor. When I look into the statistics, historically, Egypt actually, comes at the forefront in terms of cases that have been brought, before exit. In certain sort of circumstances, we wanted to look at them the spring, and the level of that, and all the consequences that we carry, leading to further cases to exit. So, fact number one is that in terms of percentage, we have around 10% of the cases pending before exit relate, to the Middle East in one way or the other. More actually very unfortunate is to notice the number of arbitrators who have Middle East and Latin nationality are present on exit panels for this position of cases. Here the number actually falls down dramatically. Based on the latest statistics you're looking into 2022, for example, you have 1% of the total arbitrators to safeguard exit panels actually come from a Middle Eastern background. So, on the one hand, while you have 10% of the cases, you have 1% of arbitrators, which is another issue that I'd like to touch upon, at a later. When we get into a very important facet, of international investment dispute, which is the whole concept of impartiality and independence and cultural sensitivity of arbitrators in dealing with these very, very critical, investment disputes. Now, going back to statistics, there has been a noticeable drop in the number of cases brought against in recent countries. For example, in 2019 we had 10 cases, and it went all the way down to only 2 cases. That we report.
Because of the Egyptian case of
The Egyptian got out of the sea. You know, absolutely correct. With regard to the sort of investment treaties that have been signed, in the last 5 years,